Hola, guys. Welcome back to another edition of the What's Poppin' podcast. I know it's been a little while, but it's all good. You know, all things take a little time to get back to it. We've been a little busy. So, anywho, I am super excited to have my good girlfriend here. Her name is K.S. Lewis. Tell everyone about yourself.
I'm K.S. Lewis. I am an author. I'm a relationship coach.
Relationship coach,
and a talk show host.
Yes, so. And so she invited me on her show. It's called Love Dish. Tell everyone about it.
Yes, so Love Dish is kind of my gift. It's a combination of my two passions. I love food and I love love.
Okay.
And so we talk to people each week. Love and relationships is the topic, and we cook a signature dish.
So in my case, because I am not a chef by any means,
but
she
that's okay.
made spaghetti,
yes.
and I made a drink. It worked, and it was delicious.
It was a good drink. It was a good drink. It's now on my list of drinks.
Fabulous. So. I could do a little something.
Right.
And see you. All right. So let's talk about you being an author, and we're going to mention these books that you brought as well.
Thank
you. When did you fall in love with love?
I fell in love with love, I think, when I was a child, even though I didn't realize it. And I talk a lot about that in my first book, The Game According to Life. Just being able to kind of watch how my parents interacted love-wise made me fall in love with the idea of love itself.
So they had a very healthy love
No,
relationship.
they didn't.
Okay.
No, they didn't. My parents divorced when I was very young, maybe 6, I guess. And then seeing my mom and how she interacted in love relationships after that really groomed me to have different ideas about love. So, and I think that's true for most people.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so what inspired you to start writing the books?
Well, I've always been a writer. I wrote journals as a child. I was always writing something down. And I went through what some would consider a bad divorce in 2012. And I was like, well, let me blog about this. I want to write about what he said and what he's doing and all this. And it was just, let me talk about him. But I was sitting with a friend one day at lunch, and she said, well, who cares about what he did?
Facts.
What are you doing to come through it? What are you doing to bring yourself out of it? And so as I began to write, I did realize that it was really about me and how it was therapeutic for me, really.
Okay.
And that really produced The Game According to Life, my first book in 2015.
So give everyone kind of the Cliff Notes version about what this book, like what they can find in this.
Well, The Game According to Life is a story about a young lady named Life.
Cute.
And she talks a lot about her mom and how she watched her mom in love relationships, and then how she interacted with love after that, from a young child through marriage, through divorce, and then beyond.
Okay. So then
some people might think it's about me, but it's about life.
That's what we're saying.
That's what I have to say.
Right. So we don't get sued.
Right.
Anywho, let's move on to Love Notes for Life. Let's talk about that.
Love Notes for Life is my ode to the little black book. I don't know. You know, I'm of an age where we used to have little black books that we wrote addresses down and phone numbers down and little notes about people. And so I wanted to kind of go back to that and bring 15 things that I thought were really pertinent when you're considering being in love or dating or just relationships in general. And so that's what Love Notes for Life is.
Nice. Now, both of these, where can people find them? And let me show you guys what they are. Yes. Where can they find these?
You can find them either on my website, IamKSLewis.com, or on Amazon.
Perfect. Okay, so let's talk tea. Now, all right. Now, you call yourself a relationship coach, and this is not shade, but I want to know.
Yes.
So how does one who calls themselves a relationship coach find themselves in a divorce?
Well, easy.
Okay.
Because, and I haven't always been a relationship coach, but I think sometimes we go through so many different things and we believe we're doing it the right way, but we're not. And so we end up divorced. You know, everyone ends up, well, not everyone. I was going to say people don't, first of all, people don't marry to get divorced.
True.
But,
I hope not.
No.
Yeah.
But once you find yourself in that place, you make that decision if it's the best decision for you. And then you have to find your way back to happy after that.
That's the challenge.
Yes.
Is finding the way back to happy.
It's almost impossible because if you don't have a strong network of support, if you don't have the wherewithal in yourself to go to happy, then you'll be bitter for the rest of your life.
That's sad.
True. It is sad. It's a sad state of being. And so what I love to be able to do since I've been through it and since I've been able to be a happy woman, you know, I don't have perfect days, but I have very happy days.
Okay.
It's to help people kind of find that place within themselves.
So what would you suggest, you're in a relatively long relationship, whether it's 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, whatever.
Right.
That's a long time.
Right.
Married or not, it's still a long time in a committed relationship,
Yes,
right?
definitely.
So if that relationship goes awry, usually in relationships that go awry, one definitely wants out.
Yes.
And the other one may or may not want out.
Right.
Okay. So for the one who feels like they put their all in it and they really wanted it to work, and it's now they've reached a crossroads where it's not working.
Right.
And they have to go their separate ways, but it's painful.
Yes.
Like, how do you deal? Because it's really like mourning. You mourn your relationship,
Yes,
and I think people don't acknowledge that.
Yeah, there's definitely a grieving period in mourning relationships. But so you're wanting to know how to do that?
Yeah,
or?
like what is the process? Like, okay, you guys have gone your separate ways. You're in pain. You're mourning. What now? I don't want to do anything. I'm depressed. Blah, 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 blah.
Right. Well, again, you have to have a map, almost, like a roadmap to happy. What are the things that you believe in your heart are going to be good for you and going to be healthy for you? And then what are the steps to getting there? And the steps look different for different people.
Okay.
Like some people seek out therapy. Some people, exercise. Some people cook. Some people write. It can be a lot of different things. But once you make that decision, you have to take the step to actually do it. Because we can say all day, oh, I want to get out. I want to get out. But if you don't actually take the first step and leave, or sit down and talk and say, this isn't working for me. It might not be working for you. Even if it is, I'm out. And then do it. Then you're cutting yourself short from the very beginning. And so first leaving, then finding the thing that will begin to make you happy. A lot of times you have to also own your own stuff within the relationship, because even when you want out, a lot of times you're pointing the finger at that person, but you have to take ownership of what you might have done wrong.
I do think that's honestly like what a lot of people struggle with is their own accountability. Like, I know for me, right, I got out of a shitty relationship, but it was 10 years. Right. And that's a long time.
Yeah.
And for me, it was hard because I met the real him at 10 years.
Wow. Okay.
Scary.
Yeah.
Really scary. But it's for me, I don't know. Like, I think it was a whole process, and I'm damn sure not writing a book about love.
Right.
Promise you that.
But have you been taking the steps to
I've
get
come a long way. I've
Yeah.
come a long way, and it was a process. Like, accepting that the relationship that I thought was going to be forever wasn't.
Yes.
And also, like, I am accountable for certain things in the relationship that went awry, right? Like, I allowed certain behaviors. I tolerated it for extended periods of time. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and it's important to like you said, it's important to hold yourself accountable for that. But then you also have to realize, okay, these are things I can't let happen again.
Oh,
when
hell yeah.
When I encounter another person.
So it's interesting because that was going to be my next question. Like, as people are finding themselves back in the dating world, whether you were married or not or whatever, how can you decipher, like, who's a good one, who's not a good one? How do you not make the same mistakes? And the reason I ask, right? So my two exes, like, they were literally like night and day. So I thought I picked completely different. They were both shitty on different shitty levels.
Yes.
So at some point, there's something with me that is seeking out something wrong in them.
You know
what I'm saying?
Yes. Yeah.
But how do you avoid those pitfalls?
I don't know that you can always avoid it, to be honest. I think you just have to be willing to walk away when it's time to walk away, whether it is 1 week, 1 month, or 10 years. And as soon as you see some things or feel some things on the inside of you that aren't right, bounce. So I think a lot of times we want to wait it out, and the person we've given our representative, that person has given their representative, and we're just hanging out. It's not even our real selves hanging out.
I want you to know that I don't have a fucking representative. I am me.
I have a representative.
I don't. I do not. I am 100% real 100% of the time now. Like, because I'm grown.
But you probably got to the point where now that's who you can be.
It's who I am.
Yeah.
Like, it just is. I've accepted it. If you don't like it, I encourage you to pound
everybody
sand.
Can't be that person. Like, everybody, when they meet someone new, they have a little bit of a guard up because they've been hurt, because they don't want to, deal with some of the same shitty things.
So guards, I understand. But, like, I think sometimes, when we refer to representatives, it's like you put your best face forward. You know what I mean?
Well, it's just like when you're at a new job or in a new friendship, or you do kind of put your best face forward for a little while.
I don't do that.
So
no, I don't. Like, I legit don't.
Well, you know what? I applaud you for that.
I am nothing to not 100.
Everybody can't say that, to be honest with you, but a lot of times you do put, you put a little bit more effort into things. You think about how you look, what you say. But then as you're getting to know that person, you're like, well, let me just be me, because me is comfortable. And if they can't deal with me being me, then
pound sand.
Yeah.
It's like, it's a real thing. Yeah.
Yes.
So what kind of love lessons do you teach your daughter? Because you have a teenage daughter.
Yes.
So it's
Preteen.
Preteen. Well, close enough. But now is when she's developing her image of self-worth and will eventually, start forming relationships.
Definitely.
Of that capacity. So what kind of things are you instilling in her?
Definitely being yourself, I think, is really important. And I also think body image is important.
It's huge.
Because these days, what we see on TV, what we hear on the radio, the images that are in front of us are just really unrealistic, to be honest. Like everyone doesn't walk around a certain size. Most don't. Or dressing a certain way or having even access to certain things. And so to me, it's more important about making sure she loves herself first before she even has any idea about someone else having that privilege to love her.
So that is a great question. How do you, as an adult woman, learn to love yourself? Because I do firmly believe that if you do not love yourself, you can't expect anyone else to learn how to love you if you don't know. So, but how do you teach someone who's grown, who hasn't loved themselves, how to love themselves?
Wow. It's really difficult, and it has to start with with doing things that make you happy. I'm going to go back to that over and over and over. Doing things that make you smile, being able to reassure. If it's a friend, being able to reassure them that their feelings are valid when they're having them, that, they're funny, that they're beautiful, that they're this, that they're that, and helping them see that in themselves. How you do that all the time, I'm not so sure about that. There has to be something within you that just kind of sparks and says, yes, I'm tired of the shit, and I'm going to stand up for me. And part of standing up for me is accepting who I am. It takes a while sometimes for people to get to that place, though. Like, you have to almost be fed up with everything that has been on your neck and on your back and in your life that's pissed you off for so long to just say, I accept me. I'm okay. I like that I sleep with fuzzy socks. I like that I eat cold pizza. I like that I do, X, Y, and Z. And if you don't, then you're just not the person for me, because I guarantee somebody's going to love your fuzzy socks. I say fuzzy socks. That's my example because I sleep in fuzzy socks every single night.
That's funny. Even in the summer?
Even in the summer, I do. I take them off about midnight, about
really?
Midway. Yeah, I do.
Okay,
I kick them off, but I always start with them.
Fair enough. Okay. So, what's your take on online dating?
I like online dating. I don't love it. I used to say, yes, I love it. I think as I get older, I'm changing a little bit with that, and I'm going back to wanting to meet people the old-fashioned way and in person. But I think for someone who is coming out of a relationship, a long relationship or marriage or just a long situation or something difficult, I think online dating can be really helpful.
How so?
Well, because it kind of helps you sift through people a little easier without a lot of pressure.
Okay.
You have a profile. There's a safety net almost for you. And so you can look at something and you don't have to have any kind of explanation at all as to whether or not you want to say yes or no to that person. You can just keep it moving. And technically you can do that in real life in person as well, but it's
more
a lot
awkward.
Easier. Yeah, it's a lot easier online because you don't even have to have a conversation. I also think that it helps you kind of gauge whether or not this person really does have their representative hanging out for a longer time than they should, with the question and answer phase of online dating. And it just, you can set up a meet and greet. You go and meet the person. If you don't like them, bounce. You don't ever have to see them again. With seeing someone face to face, that it might be a situation where you were introduced to them by someone else, and then it's awkward every time you're around that mutual person. Online dating is usually not the case.
Cut out the middleman.
Right.
Interesting. Okay, so what kind of tips would you suggest someone who's just getting back on the dating field?
I think someone who's just getting back on the dating field should take it slow.
Okay.
Manage your expectations. I think a lot of times I won't say there are people, it could be men or women, because I've seen some men do it too. They think, oh, this person, I'm going to date this person and we're going to jump. Some people are serial monogamers is what I call them. They always want to be in a
relationship of some
Yes.
sort.
Oh my God. When you might just want to hang out. You might just want a friend. You might just need to chill and get to know someone. And find out that as you're getting to know them in that phase, they're really not for you. And they're a good friend, but you don't want to date them. So I think taking it slow is key when you're just stepping back on the dating scene.
So do you believe that there's like a playbook in terms of, Steve Harvey wrote the book like 90 days or whatever,
right,
before you decide to get intimate with someone new,
right?
Do you think that there's a designated time that needs to be waited for sex?
No, I think people are grown and they can, they're comfortable with what they're comfortable with. And sometimes you just want a one night and sometimes you want to wait a little longer. I definitely think you should be safe no matter what you wait for, so safety is key. And then your comfort level. If I'm just meeting you at the grocery store at the hot bar, because, there are some grocery stores where you can meet somebody at the hot bar.
That's a thing.
I'm not going to name any names, but yes, that is a thing.
I know where you talking, and I'm not going there.
But they are there. I'm not jumping into bed with you that night, but there, if you're meeting someone, let's say you met someone online, you guys are talking over, the internet a couple of nights or a couple of weeks even. Hey, if you feel like doing it, do it, but be safe. If you don't. I don't think 90 days I think that's great for some people. I think 6 months is great for some people. I think even a year is great for some people. It's about the individual person.
So if someone is just starting out in a relationship and they want to be married, like that's their end goal.
Yes.
What kind of advice would you give a just starting out couple?
Again, managing your expectations, because
and why don't you explain that, managing the expectations?
So I think a lot of times when you're dating someone, you give them so much of yourself. You can be treating, as a woman, a lot of times we treat men as our husband just in the dating phase when they're not. They haven't given us a ring. They haven't put their name or changed our name. We don't have a house with them. It's none of that.
But they get all the benefits of it.
They get all the benefits of being husbands. And then they leave. Or we choose to leave, and then we're mad as hell. So I think managing your expectations is key, whether it is a serious relationship, whether it's just meeting each other. Like, just enjoy each phase of whatever the relationship is for what it is. If you're just meeting, then you shouldn't expect to go to their family reunion with them. If if you have been dating 6 months, then have a conversation about what that next step might look like. And it might sound weird or textbook or even awkward, but it'll help you in the long run as far as not getting your feelings hurt, or, not feeling like you're moving too fast, too soon, or
not on the same page.
Right. Or you're not on the same page. Like, that 6 months, he might have been seeing someone else the whole time, or a few other people. You might have been putting all of your effort into him, and then you have that conversation and it's like, whoa,
wait a minute,
I thought we were going somewhere, and he thought y'all were just kicking it. So
famous last words.
Yes. So managing your expectations is key.
Okay, so we talk a lot about I want a ride or die chick, and Bonnie to my Clyde and all this other stuff, but I feel like that kind of sends a crazy message to people, and I say that because a lot of women are ride or die, right? But the men don't reciprocate it,
right?
And that's not to sound sexist, because it works both ways, obviously. But I'm a woman, and I'm only speaking from women,
right?
But I think that kind of sends the wrong message to our young girls, because they'll be like, oh, I'm a ride or die chick. Yeah, but if he's not riding the way you're riding, then maybe we need to reevaluate this here situation.
Pump your brakes, right? Pump your brakes.
But how can you how can you get through to a young person? Because a lot of times when you're young and you know everything, you know what I mean? And this is my one and only. He's my Romeo to my man. Juliet. Yes. Right. You know what I'm saying? And ain't nothing gonna come between us. And they're headstrong about it. So how do you break through to somebody that's going through something like that?
You know, someone who's going through something that strong and with that much enthusiasm behind their heart, you can't always break through them. Sometimes it's something that has to be learned from their personal experience, and that hurts sometimes. But unfortunately, we all have some type of an experience that is a lesson to us as opposed to being mentored through it. Okay. And you know, the unfortunate side is you're right. A lot of people are looking for that ride or die. And I'm like, well, hell, I don't want to die with you. So why can't we ride and live? You know, like I'm a nurturer. I'm going to give you what I need to give you and I'm going to be here for you and support you, but I ain't got to die to do it. And I don't want you to do that either. So I think changing the narrative is really key in helping young women change the narrative about, you know, what a healthy relationship looks like. So is a healthy relationship you giving all of yourself to someone and them giving nothing? No, that's not healthy. You know, making sure that if she feels like it's, you know, unequal in any way, that she knows it's okay to walk away because she's not getting what she needs from it.
So are there fundamental things that let you know that this is a good relationship?
So I think for me personally there are, but I think everyone can be a little bit different.
So it's not a blanket, like
I wouldn't say that it's a total blanket. I think, of course, respect is always something that you want to encounter. And I always tell people that you never have to wonder if someone's interested in you. Like, I think too many women are constantly checking their phone or checking, you know, this and that, or just having the question like, oh, well, I wonder if he's this and that. You don't have to wonder if he's interested because he will move everything in front of him to let you know when he is.
Now, usually there's a lot of chase in the beginning. And at some point, is it expected that chase dies off?
I think when people get comfortable, the chase dies off. And that's both. That's both men and women, you know. But I think as a woman, there are ways to keep him interested in chasing you. Okay. I'm not going to give all that here because then I'll be giving our secrets. But
fair enough. You can go to her website.
Right. You can go to my website for that. But I do think, again, keeping, you know, I'm not going to say just keeping a man interested because men have to stay interested. We have to stay interested in them
as well.
Too,
absolutely.
You know, so finding ways to keep one another interested will keep the chase. You know, if I'm dating someone and he's looking all good and, you know, he's tailored every time I see him and a fresh cut and all this, but then 6 months in, you know, every time I see him, he's chilling in some jogging pants. I ain't mad at jogging pants, but you know, I want to see what I saw in the beginning, you know, and I don't have to see that every day. Right. I definitely don't want the bait and switch. I don't have to see it every day, but you got to bring that out every once in a while.
Remind
him. Say, ooh.
Interesting.
That right there is what I wanted.
Okay.
And what I still want.
Fair enough. So what does love mean to you? I'm going to take that from Licious. Licious wrote a book. It is called Love Notes. And I suggest you go get it. It is on Amazon. Nice. But we did these videos and he asked what love meant to us. Yes. So I thought I'd steal his question since he's in the room and he knows I'm doing it. But what does love mean to you?
So, you know, love to me is an answer to prayer.
Okay.
So when you have spent quiet time, you know, positioning yourself in a way that only you and your creator knows the desires of your heart, and that desire steps in the room and fulfills your needs, that's love.
Wowzers. Okay, that's...
You weren't ready for that.
I legit wasn't. How do you differentiate between what you and your provider have, like, he knows what's in your heart, and you meet this person and you think that he's everything that your provider is providing you with.
Right.
But how do you know if that's really the one or not?
I think in the beginning you don't. I think it is a chance that you're taking on your heart and just on, you know, what you want. And you just have to have faith that what you are seeking, you'll have it at some point. It might not be every single day because, again, we're not perfect people. But eventually you'll get there. You don't believe it?
Says it. I don't know.
You will. You will.
All right, ma'am. Sadly, our time is up.
Oh, no.
We have to wrap it up, but I wanted to tell you guys again about the books, Love Notes for Life, and of course, The Game According to Life, both by K.S. Lewis. Both are available on her website, also on Amazon. Tell everyone where they can find you and also where they can find the Love Dish show.
Yes. So you can find me again at IamKSLewis.com. On IG, I'm Girl Called Life, as well as Facebook. And Love Dish has its own YouTube channel. You can go there and please subscribe.
Second season, just saying.
Yes. Yes, second season is all that.
Yeah.
You were on episode number 2, I think. So it's up and running, and you can see it any day of the week you choose. And I'd love to have you subscribe.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm so grateful that you were able to come by. Make sure you guys go get her book. Make sure you guys go get Licious' book as well, because we're an equal employment opportunity or equal opportunity employer over here. And so thank you guys for joining us for another edition of the What's Poppin' podcast. Hopefully we'll do it again next week, and I will see you then. Thanks. It's KYS.